Welcome to Made, the show about pushing yourself through grit, failure, and perseverance. My name is Seth, and today we're having a conversation that might rub you the wrong way, because I think you're going to get a version of me that I would like to present to the world most of the time, but for a lot of reasons I don't, because I feel like some of my views and viewpoints on how we could be living our lives, I almost said should, but could be living our lives, they tend to be a little on the extreme side. Today we're talking about pushing ourselves. I genuinely believe that we have been blessed with this opportunity to do so much with our lives, and I think that the vast majority of people, they just let it go to waste. They let all this potential go to waste by not really pushing themselves in any direction. I think that we should be pushing ourselves in almost every aspect of life: physical, mental, spiritual, business, relationships, like everything's like there's so much juice to squeeze out of this life. And the fact that most people just live their lives just in this sedentary, stagnant space just kind of bothers me. You know, it's not my life, but for some reason I get bothered, especially when it's people that are close to me that I care deeply about and I want the best for. So let's just get into it. I want to start by asking you a question, okay? Just ask yourself, are you really living, or are you just going through the motion until your time runs out? Now, that's not me trying to be provocative. It's a genuine question. And I think it's a question we should all be asking ourselves because, again, I think that the point of life isn't just to get through it. I don't think we were brought here to drift comfortably from one weekend to the next, or, you know, one vacation to another, or one streaming binge to the next distraction. I believe that the point of our lives should be to push our limits, to maximize what we've been given. Because if not, then what are we doing? Just look around you for a second. All right. We are witnessing what I believe to be one of the greatest tragedies of all times. And it has nothing to do with the headlines that you see in the news. It's people, millions of people wasting their lives away. Substance abuse, endless doom scrolling, constant distractions, video games until 3 a.m., getting high, getting drunk every weekend. Just basically people living as passive observers to their own existence. Now, let me be clear. There's nothing inherently wrong with video games, having a drink, or scrolling, or any of that stuff. The problem, I believe, is how and why you use them. Are they recovery activities that support a life of purpose, or are they escape hatches from a life that you can't stand to be present for? We have glamorized checking out and vilified showing up and doing the hard work, right? Look at our society. We celebrate Netflix and chill culture, but we mock the person who's putting in the extra hours on their craft. We praise quote unquote self-care that looks suspiciously like self-indulgence while calling people who push themselves workaholics or obsessed. You know, side note, the amount of comments that I've had over the years, the amount of comments I've received on my lifestyle, on my dietary choices, on just the way that I live my life is insane. People would much more celebrate me going out drinking over the weekends than they would me waking up at 5, working out at 6 a.m., running 20 miles a week. Like, people, they scoff at that, but they love it, you know, when I relate to them and say that, hey, yeah, let's go get wasted on the weekends. Let's smoke. Let's play video games. Let's binge watch endless TV shows. You know, I find that kind of funny. And here's what really gets me. There has never been more opportunity than now to build something amazing in human history. Ever. You have access to knowledge, tools, and platforms that kings and queens of past centuries could never have imagined. And yet, more people than ever are sick, fat, and lazier than ever. Let me tell you something about me. All right. Not something that I'm entirely proud of, but it's the truth. I kind of don't have much sympathy for people who aren't thriving in today's society. I really don't. I try to care, but deep down inside, I just can't pretend that that's okay because it's not. Look, I get it. We all have different starting points in life. That's just the reality. All right. Some people are born into privilege. Others are born into hardship. Some have supportive families. Others have to overcome incredible obstacles just to get to where some of us started. I acknowledge that. But I have a really, really hard time believing that someone with 2 arms, 2 working legs, 2 eyeballs, and a brain can't make an honest effort. And what drives me crazy is we all have so much potential. All of us. The human body, the human mind, it's wild the things that we are capable of. You've got energy, you've got ideas, you've got access to more tools and more knowledge and just more opportunity than any other generation before you. And yet, you're just letting it sit there. That's what I don't understand. People say they want a better life. They say they want more for themselves, but they're wasting the very things that could get them there. They're wasting their focus. They're wasting their time. They're wasting their capacity by living on autopilot, convincing themselves that this is normal. It's not normal. It's just common. And there is a huge, huge difference. You weren't made to just survive the week. All right. You weren't brought here into this earth just to pay bills and to crash into bed and then repeat the same cycle until you die. There is something in you that could build, lead, grow, and create. But let me tell you a little secret. It requires effort. It requires you to use it. And if you don't, it doesn't just sit idly, it fades. You don't use it, you lose it. Potential doesn't last forever. It expires slowly and quietly. And then one day you're going to look up and realize that you traded all of that greatness, all of that potential for convenience. That should scare you because you only get one shot at this life, only one. So no, I don't feel bad for calling it out. You've been given so much, so much. So act like it. Push yourself. Study when you're tired. Work when you don't feel like it. Work out when you don't feel like it. Turn off Netflix. Stop doom scrolling. Say no to the weekends if you haven't earned them. Wake up earlier. Build the habits, even when no one's watching. Okay, I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying this because once you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, everything in your life changes. Everything. Take it from me. I have been on both sides. All right. I've gone from the victim to the creator, from passenger to driver, from watching life happen to me to making life happen for me. Now, let's talk really quickly about what pushing yourself actually looks like, because I think that the meaning has been distorted over time. So pushing yourself, to me, it's not about grinding 24/7 or burning yourself out just to prove a point, right? Pushing yourself is about being intentional. Just think about life like you're building a house, all right? Every day you have a choice. Are you laying the bricks or are you just rearranging the furniture while the foundation crumbles? Most people spend their whole lives just decorating the rooms in a house that's falling apart because they never invested in the structure. They never invested in the foundation. If you want to live fully, you need to understand that the structure holds everything up. It's the foundation. Without the foundation, everything else is just noise. A life where you are truly pushing yourself, I believe, is built on 6 core pillars. They are struggle, passion, discipline, community, momentum, and legacy. Let's break them down real quick. Struggle is where identity is built. It's the reps, it's the late nights, the internal wars that you fight when no one else is watching. The life that you want exists on the other side of discomfort. If everything in your life feels easy right now, then you're probably nowhere near your potential. Struggle isn't the obstacle. It's just the price of admission. Passion gives your struggle direction. It's what makes the hard days worth it. Real passion isn't loud. It's what keeps you locked in after the excitement fades. It's what makes you obsessed with doing the work well, not for applause, not for validation, but because it matters to you. Discipline. This is important. Discipline is the structure that keeps everything from collapsing. It's showing up when your passion is nowhere to be found. Discipline builds trust, not with others, but with yourself. It's the proof that you follow through. Most people don't lack talent. They only lack follow through. They lack discipline. Community. Community is the piece that most people overlook. You'll never reach your full potential in isolation. You need mirrors. You need voices that challenge your blind spots and refuse to let you shrink. The right community keeps you honest. If you're constantly the smartest person in your circle, then I hate to break it to you, you're not in a circle. You're in a cage. Momentum. Momentum is what takes effort and turns it into flow. It's when the hard things stop feeling so hard because your standards have now risen. But momentum is fragile. If you lose it, you don't just go back to zero, you go backwards. That's why you protect it. Motion beats perfection every time. And lastly, legacy. Legacy is what you leave behind. It's what echoes when you're gone. It's not your money. It's not all your social media highlights or your likes and comments. I'm talking about impact. Lives changed because you will leave a legacy, either by design or by default. A maximized life does not fade quietly. It leaves proof that it was there. All right. So let's turn the mirror around. All right. I want you to really examine your life. Would you say that you're coasting or that you're climbing? Most people live what I call a life of hesitation rather than a life of exertion. Hesitation is about comfort and temporary safety. Exertion is about risk, and that's where growth lives. All right, so I want you to ask yourself some questions and just get honest with yourself for a second, okay? First question. Am I waiting for life to change me, or am I actively changing my life? Question 2. Do my excuses serve me, or do they limit me? Next question. Do I even know what I want, or am I just reacting to what's in front of me? And the last one, and this is important. Am I living by design or by default? The most dangerous trap, it isn't failure, it's mediocrity. It's getting comfortable with good enough when greatness is within reach. It's settling for the life that everyone else has when you could create something extraordinary. So there's this myth, right? This story that we tell ourselves that there's an arrival point, that one day you'll quote unquote make it and then you can relax. But that's not how life works. There is no arrival. There's only process. There's only pushing. And the moment you think you've arrived is the moment that you begin to decline. Now, you might not agree with me. You might have heard that and rolled your eyes. But just look at anyone in your life or in someone else's life who's done anything that's truly exceptional, whether it's in athletics, business, art, relationships, the CEO of your company. They never stop pushing their edge. They never settle for yesterday's performance. They're constantly asking, what's next? How can I grow? Where can I improve? Just think about Kobe Bryant, right? He lived this tremendous life. He had an extraordinary career playing basketball. And when he finished, he didn't just, kick up his feet and relax. He did for a little bit. He said he had like 6 months to a year where he kind of chilled out. But then this man went on to publish a children's book, won an Oscar, coached, basketball teams. Like he always kept pushing and finding his new edge. So this is true of excellence, whether you want to accept it or not. So after this episode, I want you to do something. Do something for yourself. All right. I recognize that most of you won't do this, and that's fine, but whenever you get a moment, take 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, and do a quick life audit. Here's what I want you to track. How do you spend your time daily? And track it honestly. What habits are you building for your future, and which are you undermining? Where have you gotten soft, and what's one step that you can take to harden it? This isn't about judgment, all right? We're not here to poke and point and laugh at you. It's about awareness for yourself, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge needs changing. The times in my life when I've felt the most alive, the most fulfilled, they weren't the times when things were easy, okay? It's when I was stretched beyond what I thought I could handle. It's when I was facing my fears, when I was building something that mattered to me. The human spirit isn't designed for comfort. It's designed for challenge. We are at our best when we are pushing ourselves, testing our limits, discovering what we are truly capable of. I don't believe that you were put here just to live your life on autopilot. I don't think you were designed to just get by. I believe that each and every one of us was put here to build, to stretch, and to test ourselves. When you're not pushing yourself, you don't just waste your potential. You almost kind of betray it, because you're betraying the unique combination of talents, ideas, perspectives, and possibilities that make you who you are. Life isn't going to just hand meaning to you, all right? You got to go create it. And you create it through action, through effort, through getting back up every time you fail. And here's the thing about pushing yourself. It's not always dramatic, all right? It's not visible to other people. Sometimes the biggest acts of courage happen in quiet when no one's watching. Those moments, though, they compound. Day after day, choice after choice, they build a life of depth and meaning rather than shallowness and regret. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this thought. Don't let your time on this earth be a little footnote, all right? Make a headline. Do something. Become something. You have everything you need to start pushing yourself today. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the circumstances are perfect. Today, right now, get up. When you're done listening to this, get up, look in the mirror, and start becoming the person that pushes. Become the person that tries, the person that maxes themselves out. Become the person that refuses to settle for less than what they are capable of. And yes, pushing yourself is hard, all right? It is extremely uncomfortable. And yes, you are going to fail sometimes. But that discomfort is the price of admission to a life worth living. So, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you living, or are you just going through the motions until your time runs out? The answer to that question, it doesn't lie in what you say, it lies in what you do next. This is Seth, and thank you for listening to this episode of Made. Just remember, mastery isn't about being perfect, it's about the process. It's about showing up day after day and pushing yourself. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.